Hi, I'm LDS in Medium, and thank you so much for tuning in today. I want to try to bring religion and spirituality closer together, and this is what this pod is all about. I will talk about my own thoughts and feelings as I am both LDS and have spiritual gifts, something that I've had my whole life, but I always thought that it was hard to combine these gifts with my religion. This has torn me into two directions, and I have talked to many people who feel the same way. I can't choose not to have my spiritual gifts, but I can choose how I use them. And I always want to use them for good and to help others. I believe my heavenly parents gave them to me for a reason. So, this is me. Join my quest for knowledge. So, my story begins on the 27th of December 1972 in a small town located almost in the middle of Sweden. I've always been a quiet child, never made a fuss. Was a lot in my head, and now with the knowledge I have, I understand why. But being a child, I spent a lot of time alone in my room. Even though I have a brother just 1 year and 8 months older and a sister 3 years younger, I always liked it better by myself. What I did love, though, was to be with our dogs. We always had at least one German Shepherd at home growing up, and I absolutely love dogs. So if Mom couldn't find me, I was underneath the staircase in a little homemade dog house, where I would fall asleep or read a book or just be with the dogs. We had a lot of animals growing up, so I've had birds, rabbits, gold hamsters, guinea pigs, cats, turtles, fish, lizard. I actually can't remember all of them, but I love animals and have always almost preferred their company to humans, or my siblings at least, growing up. I never thought I could read thoughts, but I could always read emotions. Now I realize I can probably read thoughts, or at least sometimes, which is one of my gifts. When I first was married, I took a class in animal communication. It was a weekend course over 2 days, and I spent those doing meditations and learning more about animals and how, in this case, dogs communicate. The final test was to bring in a dog and place it in the middle of the room, and the group around, and trying to zone in and write down all the thoughts, feelings, or bodily sensations that came to us, and then our teacher told what she had learned, and as she went down the list of what she had learned from the dog, I could check off everything I had written on my list, from toothache to numb paws to itches in the bum, and loving to run in the grass in the sun, and it absolutely terrified me. After the course, I closed that door shut, and I locked it, and I threw away the key, so scared of that experience and what I thought of myself. That happened in the year of 2000, and I cut off and shut the door and went on with my life. But I had thought about being able to communicate with animals for years, and I believe if you have thoughts like that, it's because the universe is telling you that that is a part of your spiritual gifts. But I was so not prepared for them at that time in my life. So I got pregnant with 1, 2, 3 children in a 4-year period, and I don't have many memories from that time. So fast forward till 2010, 10 years after that first course, and I had a lot of back pains, and I was home with my mom, and she said that she had this lady that had studied something called craniosacral therapy on horses, but she also worked on people, and she could call her and see if she could help me. So she booked an appointment, and I took my car and went to see this lady, having no clue what it was that I was supposed to get into. So I came there and was asked to lay down on my back on a massage bench, fully closed, and she sat there with her fingers slightly under the base of my skull, at my neck, and just held them there for a full hour. But the sensations I could feel in my body, I can't really describe it. I could feel the energy travel through my body, and tingling in my hands and feet, and the pain in my back got a lot worse. But she just sat there with her hands in the same position. I started talking about images and memories that came to me, and she told me to keep talking because she could feel how my body worked through traumas. So I lay there and I talked and cried, and after an hour she said goodbye and I left thunderstruck. What had just happened to me? My pain in my back grew and became worse over the next couple of days. So I had to call her, and she asked me to come back, which I did, and she treated me for another hour. This time she sat with the tips of her fingers touching the outside of my shoulders ever so lightly, and I talked and cried for another hour. But after that hour, something amazing happened. The pain in my back started to melt away, and soon it was just an echo left. I called her and asked what is it that she had done to me, and she told me it was called craniosacral therapy, and that if I was interested, her teacher in CST for horses was flying in from Australia to talk a little bit about it in an evening seminar. And yes, I was really interested. I could feel it pulling at me. So me, my mom, and my mom's twin sister went to that seminar, and I was sitting there listening. I felt like a missing puzzle piece had just been given to me by the universe. It was so powerful to see the transformation in the horses that they had brought out to demonstrate, and how they went from being really scared and skittish to standing totally relaxed and yawning, and I just knew I had to learn that. So I started looking into it and wanted to learn it for horses. But since I had taken 1 year of physical therapy training, I had a lot of knowledge about the human body. I found a school in Sweden that had courses for learning CST on humans. I couldn't start that year since I was out of Stockholm when they had their first class. But I saved up money and took the training over the next year. Started in March 2011 and graduated in February 2012, 2 weeks before my youngest son was born. That was the start of my real journey to find myself and to understand the gifts that I have. I have always had a strong sense of not only helping people, that is why I only took 1 year of physical therapy, and the fact that I don't understand maths, but I wanted to heal. No, I needed to heal people. And CST gave me knowledge to understand the human body and gave me tools to help bodies heal themselves. I realized I really don't heal, but with my thoughts, hands, intention, I can trigger the body to start to heal itself. And I love it. So I worked on anybody who had pains and aches. And I realized that I feel the pain and aches of others in my own body. Like sensations, so I know where and how strong, and it has helped me a lot. So, where am I going with this? It took me months before I realized that the experience with the animal communication class that made me so scared was exactly the same gifts as I used to understand the human body and to see where the problems were. The realization hit me when I was at the stables with my daughter and I was with a horse, and I started to get images in my head and pains in my body from the horse. And I told my best friend, and she looked at me dumbstruck and said, "You just realized that? I have known that for months." Well, sometimes I guess I can be a bit slow, but in this case it was good for me because it gave me time to feel comfortable with the process and embrace it instead of pushing it away. And it was the start of my journey. What has been your journey? What is it that keeps nagging in the back of your head? What were some dreams that you had as a child? What did you want to do? How did you want to help? Write down anything that pops into your mind, and if you have a story to share, email me. I'd love to read it. Until next time, be the light, share the light, spread the light, shine. This is my journey. Thank you so much for keeping me company today. Please download, like, share, and subscribe, and help spread the light and spread the word to expand our community. Let's bring more love, peace, and unity to this world. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. Always be grateful, kind, and loving. Be brave and remember to step out of your comfort zone and smile. If you support us on Patreon, you will get access to our meditations and extra materials so you can download them as MP3. Also, we now have a Facebook group, which you can access from our Facebook community. Please answer the questions as you apply to participate. It will be a safe haven where we can keep discussing religion and spirituality, our spiritual gifts, and self-development. Remember, one person can make a difference, but together we can change the world.